Thank you, singers. That was beautiful. Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Arlington. My name is Rachel Burnett. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a member of your Board of Trustees. Whether this is your first time worshiping with us or you've been coming here for many, many years, whether you're attending online with us or you're here in person, we are glad you're here. Like many of you, this has been, for me, a week of stress and big feelings. I was grateful to be able to come here on Wednesday evening to be in community while we listened to music and readings and sat with how we're feeling rather than holding it alone. As you go through this next period of time, please know this church is here for you and ready to offer support. There are many ways to connect, such as contacting the pastoral care team, talking with Rev Amanda or Rev CTC, through affinity groups, and you can contact our congregational engagement manager, Nicole Haley, if you are not in an affinity group yet and would like to be. We have covenant groups, book clubs, and many other ways there are to connect in this loving, vibrant congregation. We're here to build and rely on supportive community. So I hope you'll bring that into the weeks that come and just take what is useful to you. And of course, you can find out more about the specifics of these offerings in our weekly e-newsletter called Connections. Another way to receive support is happening today at 1 p.m. Rev Amanda is offering a class called Setting the Table, which will focus on how we approach the holidays and other connections with family, where get-togethers are challenging because of politics. You're welcome to join even if you haven't already signed up. And again, that's at 1 o'clock. It goes until 2:30, and it will be downstairs in the youth room. UUCA is a congregation where we invite you to come for community, find inspiration, and live with purpose. We're a congregation of people of all backgrounds, races, genders, sexual orientations, and disabilities and abilities, both seen and unseen. Whoever you are, whatever you believe, you are welcome here. Thank you.
Rachel, thank you so much for that welcome and for your service on the board. And choir, thank you for bringing that music to begin our service this morning with hope and connection. I'm Reverend Amanda Poppy. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm honored to serve as the senior minister here at UUCA. My colleague, Rev CTC, our Minister of Social Justice and Community Development, is preaching at All Souls DC this morning. So we're sending love and care over to our sibling Unitarian Universalists at All Souls on 16th Street and to our sibling Unitarian Universalist congregations all around the country as they gather this morning. I am joined on the worship team today by Allison Cardy, our worship associate, by the choir led by David Mann, our director of music. We've got Cameron and Art in the back on AV and tech. All of the people who create this morning and make it possible, from our ushers to our greeters to our coffee makers to our parking lot greeters, and all of you. And so I want to invite you every morning on Sundays, we say hello. If we're online, we say hello in the chat and let people know where we're watching from or how we're connecting, how we're feeling this morning. And then here in the sanctuary, we say hello to each other, especially those we don't know yet. This morning, I want to invite you to offer just a little more than hello. Maybe check in with each other, ask how you're doing. Offer a welcome, say how good it is to be together. Whatever feels right for you, I invite you now into this space, a space of connection and community. Friends new and old, it is good to be together. As you find your way back to your seats, make a little room. We had a full parking lot this morning, so there may be folks continuing to join us. Just make sure they know they're welcome. It is good to be together. Our call to worship this morning comes to us from Unitarian Universalist minister Reverend Tanya Marquez. Reverend Marquez wrote this call to worship in the 2 languages that are her native languages, and I offer it to you in that way. It is now when we are called as witnesses of the world to mend it, to change its course, to restore it. It is now when we are called to act on our values, not to hide, not to fear, but to be bold and loud. It is now that we are called to continue our fight for justice, to organize, to speak up. It is now. Let us gather. Let us give each other courage. Let us worship. Es ahora que estamos llamados a ser testigos del mundo, a enmendarlo, a cambiar su curso, a restaurarlo. Es ahora que somos llamados a vivir nuestros valores, a no escondernos, a no temer, sino a ser audaces y hacer ruido. Es ahora que somos llamados a continuar nuestra lucha por la justicia, a organizarnos, a levantar las voces. Es ahora, reunamos, démonos valor unos a otros. Celebremos.
Each week at UUCA, we light a candle of compassion. This week has been a big week. I've heard a range of reactions to our elections. Everything from shutting down, going numb, curling up in a fetal position, to leaving meetings in tears from a deep sense of loss and devastation, to feeling surprised and shaky, to feeling afraid that things we hold dear are under threat, to the disappointment and heartbreak at efforts that didn't yield results, to feelings of upset and incredulity that this is the reality we now find ourselves in. It's been a big week. As we light our candle of compassion, we witness and hold the people who are struggling, along with our imperfections in the midst of those struggles, like a difficulty getting out of bed, or an unintended sharp word, or a choice we regret, or just a less than stellar week. We hold all of this gently, with compassion, and with an understanding that it's been a big week. And I was wondering if a child would like to come up to help Rev Amanda light our chalice. Would any of you like to come help light a candle? Oh, we got one.
Oh, good. We have some sparkles this morning.
Awesome, thank
Here
you.
you go, Emerson. Okay, ready? So light it right here.
We gather together as a community of memory and hope to celebrate life and its infinite possibilities for love. We light this chalice as a symbol of the light within every human heart. May our individual sparks meet and merge, bringing both light and warmth to the world.
We need many things for comfort, friends. Sometimes we need sparkles. I do. I want to invite you now to rise in body or in spirit and sing hymn number 1002 in your teal hymnal. We won't sing about sparkles, but you can have them in your heart anyway. We're going to sing slightly different words than you find in the hymnal. So our first verse is comfort me, our second is sing with me, and our third is stay with me. Stay with me.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, O my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, O my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me, oh my soul. Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me, oh my soul.
I would like to invite now any of our children who would like to join me on the chancel this morning to come on up. We're going to sit down to start. Come on up. Oh, Emerson, have you brought a mermaid to be with us this morning? That's fantastic. I'm so glad. She's very welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Come on up. Want to join me? I wondered if you all would help me this morning to teach the grown-ups something, maybe a couple of things. I have noticed, and maybe you have too, that some of the grown-ups, and actually some of the kids maybe too, might be feeling a little extra sad or stressed or upset right now. It's your birthday today? Well, that's wonderful. yesterday was your dad's birthday? I feel very grateful for Joy and for Sparkles and the ways that those are needed right now. Happy birthday. Well, so this is you have a balloon? Amazing. Well, this is a good segue because I was trying to think of what are the things that we can do when we are feeling sad or anxious or angry or upset. And one of them is to remember the things that are joyful and wonderful in our lives, like birthdays and balloons. I wondered if any of you had other ideas of things that bring you comfort, like we sang. Deep breaths. I love that. Yes. Yeah, what do you think? Your birthday was November 3rd. This is just a lot of very unexpected but awesome birthday celebrations. What else do you find helpful? What brings you comfort that you might suggest as an idea to the grown-ups? Anything else? Well, I really like this deep breaths idea, and I'm wondering if you might help me teach the grown-ups a particular way to take deep breaths that I find helpful. I'm going to stand up so they can see, and if you want to stand up with me, that will help the grown-ups to see, and if not, you can just stay seated, whatever you like. But it's called triangle breathing. You know what what does a triangle look like? Can you make the shape with your hands? Yeah, exactly, just like that, 3 sides. And so triangle breathing goes like this. You breathe in for the length of one side, then you hold your breath for the length of one side, and then you breathe out for the last side. So it goes like this.
I can make a diamond with my fingers.
Oh, and you could do a diamond breathing too. You maybe breathe in twice, hold, and breathe out. Nope, the other way around. Breathe in once, hold, breathe out twice. There you go. Okay, but
A diamond 5 times.
yeah, that's awesome. But we're going to stick with triangle breathing because it's easier to teach. And so here's how I do triangle breathing. Sometimes I use my hand to make the triangle, so I know I'm doing it just the way I want to. I breathe in, then I hold my breath, then I breathe out. And I can do it a few times. Sometimes I put my hand on my stomach when I'm doing that triangle breathing, and that helps me too. And here's a good tip. You can do triangle breathing and put your hand on your stomach, like even in a meeting that's getting stressful, and nobody will know, but you'll feel calmer inside. That's a pro tip for the grown-ups. You can also do it so everybody knows you're doing triangle breathing. And maybe invite them to do some triangle breathing with you. I find triangle breathing, those deep breaths that we talked about, very helpful when I need to calm my body down, my nervous system, when it's kind of jangly and I feel like itchy and squiggly in a way that doesn't feel good. I try that triangle breathing to slow down my whole body. And then I also sometimes need sparkles, and I also sometimes need balloons. And I think probably, David, we should sing happy birthday before we go, don't you think? Yeah. So for all of the birthdays and the joy and the celebrations that are still happening all the time, I invite you to sing happy birthday and to hold in your mind sparkles and balloons, and also, when you need it, triangle breathing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Let's do everyone. Birthday to everyone. Happy birthday to you. I want to invite our children now to go to their classes. We are going to sing you on your way with a different song. The words to that song are printed in your order of service. And thank you for breathing with me and bringing your mermaids and your puppies too.
Peace to you on your way. May
I have been doing some of that triangle breathing recently. On Wednesday, when we gathered, we breathed together using one of our beloved Unitarian Universalist hymns, Meditation on Breathing, which invites us to breathe in peace and then breathe out love. Sometimes I find that I need to do a fair amount of triangle breathing before I'm able to breathe in peace, but I usually get there. And sometimes I need to do a lot of triangle breathing before I'm ready to breathe out love. But hopefully I get there. I'm grateful this morning that as we are breathing together and being quiet and singing and listening and talking, we are also joined by a group of Buddhist nuns who are learning and gathering and chanting for peace together. I'm grateful for all that swirls in this space. And so I want to invite you as we move into our time of prayer and meditation to start with some of that breathing, whether it's triangle breathing or just regular. Start by grounding yourself here. Breathing in peace. Breathing out love. We breathe in peace so that we can breathe out love, so that we can breathe out love to all who need it today. We breathe out love today to our veterans here in this congregation and across the country. We breathe out love to all those who have served our country with care and commitment and hope for its future. And we breathe out love to all of those who continue to serve our country in the armed forces, in the federal government, as teachers, as postal workers, all those who show up with care and commitment and hope for our future. We breathe out our love to all who are scared today, who are making plans for their own and their loved ones' safety. We breathe out our love to those who are showing up to support, who are making their own plans, to welcome, to nurture. We breathe out love to the relationships, the ones that feel strained or broken. We breathe out love and hope for repair and healing. We breathe out love today for our country, love for all that has been and may be, love for each of us, to know that we are welcome and worthy and whole. May we keep on breathing. May we breathe with the spirit of life and the spirit of love. And may it be with us still.
Fuente d'amor, ven hacia mí, y al corazón cántale tu compasión. Costa molea, la justicia de la vida, arraigame, libérame, fuente d'amor, ven a mí, ven a mí. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
I'd like to invite Melissa up for our social justice moment.
Good morning. My name is Melissa Neuwasser. I'm here to tell you just about my social justice work here at UUCA that I got involved in after a trip to Israel and Palestine in 2019. And some of you in the room were also on that trip, or you were there in 2014, or you've been there at other times. Or you might know me as the one who sells the olive oil. And I just want to leave you with this thought that I don't really sell the olive oil. It sells itself. And I'll tell you about that a little later. So the olive oil ministry falls under the umbrella of UUs for Justice in the Middle East. UUJME was established in 1971 to mobilize us as UUs to become advocates for a just peace in Palestine, Israel. I'm going to tell you about an action of immediate witness that was adopted at UUA General Assembly in June. It's called Solidarity with Palestinians. I'm going to jump right into it, and I'm going to encourage you to pick up a copy at the back of the room and read the full text of the action. It calls for a stop to indiscriminate violence in Gaza, a permanent ceasefire, an end to U.S. military aid to Israel, and for UU congregations to join Apartheid-Free Communities Initiative. Let me share a quote. "We affirm our commitment to the safety of Jewish communities. Our vision is one where both Palestinian and Jewish kin can live safely and freely. We reject any actions that undermine the rights and lands of Palestinian people." Again, please read the full text of the action or go to uupalestineaction.org and you'll find it there. So how do we make this real, this call action of immediate witness? Education, advocacy, witnessing, solidarity. This week, UUJME is joining a coalition of more than 50 organizations for advocacy days in Congress. We're expecting a vote of another $18 billion in weapons for Israel. Meanwhile, Congress refuses to refund the one UN agency that is the backbone of humanitarian aid in Gaza. Our letters do make a difference, even if the chances of us prohibiting this further weapons may be slim. So you can write a letter to Congress. We have QR codes in the back, or you can attend an action hour maybe to learn more. Maybe you could attend an author's talk about fighting anti-Semitism that's happening this Wednesday, or a teach-in about Palestine that's happening next 2 weeks Thursday. Again, QR codes in the back. Click it, look at it, register for what moves you. No one can do all of this at once. So let me come back to the olives. Imagine the Tent of Nations farm outside of Bethlehem. It's surrounded by settlements who are encroaching more and more on the land, and the tensions are increasing. The farm has been struggling to maintain that land for decades, yet they have ownership dating back to 1916. Tent of Nations works to build bridges between people and the land, and their motto is, "We refuse to be enemies." That's how the olive oil ministry was started, to help Tent of Nations pay their legal fees to maintain their land. So I think that's what most of us want, isn't it? To build bridges, creating the world we dream about, and refusing to be enemies. But we need each other to push really hard for what matters, even when it feels like an uphill battle. So please, join us, talk to us, tell us what your questions or concerns are, come to the back table, and start scanning QR codes. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa, for that information and ways to get involved. Each Sunday, we share the offering with an organization whose values align with this community's. 70% of the funds collected are donated, and 30% stay with UUCA to support the congregation's work. In November, AFAC is our Share the Plate. AFAC, Arlington Food Assistance Center, is Arlington's primary food support provider to low-income individuals and families. Through centers around the county, it provides food staples and protein products to those in need. UUCA volunteers help distribute food to AFAC clients bi-monthly, typically serving 100 to 200 Arlington families. They also assist with other activities, including food drives, sorting donations, and direct distribution. Don't hesitate to contact Burke Kapler for more information. And you can give by writing a check to UUCA and writing pledge, or share the plate in the memo line, as well as giving cash or online. Will the ushers please come forward to collect the offering?
The piece the choir will be offering today was commissioned for the Interfaith Conference of Metropolitan Washington in 2000. The text is in Hebrew and translates to, "The world is sustained by three things: truth, justice, and peace."
We bless and receive these gifts, opening our hearts to true generosity. Let us be grateful when we give, be it time, talent, or treasure. Let us be grateful for our needs and the experience of vulnerability. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts to nurture this congregation. Thank you. Today's reading is Blessing When the World is Ending by Jan Richardson. Look, the world is always ending somewhere. Somewhere the sun has come crashing down. Somewhere it has gone completely dark. Somewhere it has ended with the gun, the knife, the fist. Somewhere it has ended with the slammed door, the shattered hope. Somewhere it has ended with the utter quiet that follows the news from the phone, the television, the hospital room. Somewhere it has ended with a tenderness that will break your heart. But listen, this blessing means to be anything but morose. It has not come to cause despair. It is simply here because there is nothing a blessing is better suited for than an ending. Nothing that cries out more for a blessing than when a world is falling apart. This blessing will not fix you, will not mend you, will not give you false comfort. It will not talk to you about one door opening when another one closes. It will simply sit itself beside you among the shards and gently turn your face toward the direction from which the light will come, gathering itself about you as the world begins again.
Like many of you, I suspect I woke up on Wednesday morning to the news of how the election had turned out. Some of you perhaps stayed up on Tuesday evening and into the morning and found out that way. But I woke up Wednesday. I have been thinking a lot about that experience, about waking up to find out the news. And in particular, I have been thinking about how I found out. Now, you might imagine that I got a breaking news update. I get breaking news updates about a lot of things, most of which I actually do not consider to be breaking news. This would have qualified, but that isn't how I found out. Or I could have been scrolling Facebook and seen people posting the headlines. I could have gone to a news site myself to see the results or turned on the television. But instead, I woke up Wednesday morning and looked at my phone and saw a message in a group chat with some of my friends. And the message just said, "I love you all." That's all. It didn't say the headlines, it didn't give any context, but I knew why they had sent that message immediately. I knew what the headlines would be when I checked them. I didn't even have to go to the news site. Hey, I love you all. And I held on to that first message that I received as I went through Wednesday. As I started making plans for the day and for the week, as David and Rev CTC and I furiously shifted our plans for the gathering that evening, as I took care of my kids and life, which appeared to go on with all the logistics that it held for that day, I kept thinking about the very first notice I received. Hey, I love you all. And I tried to keep it up and to pass it along through the day. I sent texts to some of my friends and family, to groups of colleagues checking in, and just telling them, whew, this is a day. I love you. How you holding up? I kept up that I love you all conversation because I think it is perhaps what we need the most. And when we gathered here on Wednesday evening, I would say that was the tenor of our time. We didn't have polished words or perfect thoughts, but we were together. As the day continued and the week continued, I started to think about what it is that we need now, what we needed on Wednesday evening, what we would need on Sunday, what we would need in the weeks to come. And I find it helpful in those times to look toward the teachers that I respect, the people that have thought about big things before me, who have gone ahead and paved the way. I like to look as well for the helpers. Thank you, Mr. Rogers, or actually it was Mr. Rogers' mother who told him that, and then he told all of us. I like to look for the helpers. One of the teachers I have been looking at is something that was shared by a number of friends and colleagues in these past few days, a list from Daniel Hunter, listing 10 ways to respond now. Hunter writes, the key to taking effective action now is to avoid perpetuating the autocrat's goals of fear, isolation, exhaustion, and disorientation. Hunter offers 10 things, beginning with trust yourself, your feelings, what you believe, what you need. Then find others that you trust. And grieve. That's number 3. He goes on to talk about organizing and working in coalition with others, including people that you haven't worked with before, resisting together. But today I think we might still be on those first 3 steps. Trust yourself. Find others you trust. Grieve. I was helped as well by the words of Cole Arthur Riley, who is the founder of Black Liturgies, the founder and author of Black Liturgies, both a book and a movement. Riley offered a mantra for our breathing. In addition to breathing in love, in peace, and breathing out love, I have been breathing with Riley as we inhale. I am not foolish for hoping. As we exhale, I will not rush from this grief. So in these last days, I have been making space for all that I feel. I went to a yoga class on Thursday evening, and every time that class gathers, the teacher, it's a very small class, so the teacher says, what is it that you all need today? And usually we say like, oh, my hips need to be opened, or, my neck is tight. I said, I need to be in a place where I'm not holding the space. How about that? I hope you have been caring for yourself as well. And I have been remembering that I know how to do this, that we know how to do this. I have been remembering 8 years ago when I offered similar words on a Sunday. And the ministry skills that I built during that time, they were ministry skills, I want to be clear, that I would have been happy to let get a little dusty. But here we are. We know how to do this. A colleague of mine on Wednesday evening, they told me the story of hugging the mother of a trans child in their congregation. A lot of us have been hugging the parents of trans children this week. And so they were hugging this mother, and the mother was crying and saying, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how we'll survive. I don't know how my kid's going to make it and how we're going to make it. And then even as she wept, this mother, who was a nurse, remembered her work at an AIDS clinic in the 1980s. And she remembered watching the men at this clinic, the clients at this clinic, who weighed 90 pounds and who were unstoppable as they marched and yelled and raged and worked for change. And she said, that's right. We know how to do this. Collectively, we know how to do this. She doesn't want to do it. No one wants that for themselves or for their child or for the people that they love. But we know how. We have those muscles. I had another conversation this week with someone who was searching to figure out what it would be that they could do in the weeks and the months and the years to come. How they could show up if they couldn't do this kind of organizing, if they didn't feel safe to be at the front lines, if they had this kind of time or that kind of challenge. And in those moments, I find it helpful to look at the work of Deepa Iyer, who created something called the Social Change Ecosystem. That's the whole thing. The Social Change Ecosystem. It's a framework. It's a framework for understanding different roles in social change movements that have justice and love and liberation at the center. And it tells us that we need all of the different roles in those movements. We need the weavers who are bringing people together across different borders and boundaries. We need the experimenters who are willing to try something never tried before, willing to fail at it just to see. We need the frontline responders, the ones who feel safe enough, who are able to put their bodies and their spirits forward at the front of the line. We need the visionaries and the builders. We need the caregivers who make soup and watch the children and offer nurture and care. The disruptors and the healers, the storytellers and the guides. I think about it this way sometimes too, and I think about this particularly serving a congregation in the greater DC area, where so many people work within government. That we need the folks that are outside working for change, and we need the folks staying steady on the inside too. We need all of us in the roles that we inhabit, with love and justice and liberation at the center. Now, sometimes those roles are clear. Here I am as a minister, I had to say something today. I was at dinner last night with some other friends. I encourage you to get all your friends around you these days as best you can. And one of them said to me, "What are you going to tell them tomorrow morning? What are you going to say?" And I probably answered something like, "Oh, the social change ecosystem framework is going to be really great." And then I had a realization, which I found comforting, which is that I think today, this moment right here, is among the more important Sundays for this congregation to gather, for us to do church and to be church with each other. And it is probably one of the least important times for whatever it is that I say, for the sermon part. Because the truth is that it is not a special word or just the right reading that is what you and we and I need right now. It is actually just this. It's, "Hey, I love you all." It's the text messages and the handshakes and the extra wave to your neighbor. It's gathering together It's trusting yourself and being with people you trust. It's this. 8 years ago, what I remember most from the night of the 2016 election was a Google Doc. As the results started to come in, Unitarian Universalist ministers began to text each other, first friends and then colleagues in larger groups, and talked about what it was we were going to do the next day and on Sunday, how we were going to respond, what resources we needed. And so somebody started a Google Doc, thank goodness, the tool of salvation for the world. That Google Doc had in it, as people added to it, poems and readings and music, songs you could teach your congregation. And the small congregation ministers wrote that they were going to do a potluck and invite everybody. And the large congregation ministers said, be sure to pick up extra candles for Sunday. And people started reminding each other what it was that we needed and made things up on the fly and figured it out. You know, in a Google Doc where you see those little circles at the top that tell you how many people are in that document, when you're working on a regular thing, it tells you if your coworker's actually seen the thing yet and you can start moving together on it. Those little circles kept increasing that night as people all over the country were popping on, here's a poem, here's a poem, here's a poem. Over time, the Google Doc turned into actual, PDFs, resources. Some of them turned into books. Some of them turned into coalitions and organizations, like the Pink Village, which supports trans families in moving from one state to another, supports getting settled in a new place so that they can access health care. Or like the clinic that the First Unitarian Church in Dallas, Texas started, an organization that offers reproductive justice choices to women in Texas that helps them to get to states where they can access reproductive health. A lot of that started with a Google Doc, with one more little button showing up that night. And so this morning and this week, as I have been thinking about what we need, I have been thinking about those little circles at the top of the Google Doc. I have been thinking about the words of the poet Marge Piercy in The Low Road. She writes, "It goes on one at a time. It starts when you care to act. It starts when you do it again and they say no. It starts when you say we and know who you mean, and each day you mean one more." And I have been wondering then, how can we mean one more every day? One more circle in the Google Doc. One more person getting a text, hey, I love you all. One more coalition, one more connection, one more neighbor who we know to be our neighbor. What does it look like for this congregation, for each of us, to build one more? Friends, I hope in the days and weeks to come that you will be adding one more each day. That you will know that this is a place where you are welcome and worthy and whole, just as you are. And that this is a place where all are welcome and worthy and whole. And that together we do the equivalent, whatever it looks like for you, of saying, hey, I love you all. May it be so for us, and may we sing it and act it into being. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join together in singing hymn number 131 in your gray hymnal. Love will guide us.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will be the way on the road from Greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak for thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will be the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Please join me in our chalice extinguishing. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light and warmth it represents. These we carry with us, bringing our sparks of love to the world.
Friends, may you bring those sparks of love, however they show up. May you receive them. May we look to the ancestors who have paved a way, and may we know we are in this together. Amen.
As sanctuary singers makes their way up to the front, we invite you to sing along with us. The words you will have to learn by ear, as they are not in your program. They are "Loosen, loosen, baby." Your turn. Loosen. You don't have to carry. The weight of the world. In your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. This is something we sang on Wednesday. It's a bit of a mantra, and we hope you can take this home with you today. This is how it goes. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Sing with us. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Stay on that part. Hold. The weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go,